Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Burton Ballers. And in this episode, I'm just going to name it Jurgen Klopp the Clown, or Klopp the Clown.
Welcome to the Burton Ballers. Ain't got no time for no stallers, yeah.
We are the risers, we're not the fallers. Our channel is growing wider and taller.
Yeah, we're here to give you the news about your dear beloved Blues, yeah.
So if you like this YouTube channel, like, subscribe, and turn on that bell.
Yeah.
I was fuming yesterday when I heard the comments from Jurgen Klopp. When after, he's just what... I don't mind bad losers because that means you're winners as well. But there's bad losers and then there's taking it to that next level. Jurgen Klopp, after Liverpool got away with a 2-2 result actually, because Tottenham, had they had better finishing, then they should have won that game by about 4 or 5-1 or 2. They were opening Liverpool's midfield at will. And they're just getting through them so easy. It's just like a knife through butter. And afterwards, Jurgen Klopp came out with his post-match conference, and he said something which is astounding. Unless he's Stevie Wonder, and he's not. Obviously, he's not Stevie Wonder, but delusional is the word I'd say, because he said that Chelsea and Arsenal had played their previous games with, and this is a quote, listen for it guys, with their full strength team out. What? Full strength team? Did he see the Chelsea team who played against Wolverhampton Wanderers just a couple of hours earlier? Maybe he was concentrating on his match and he didn't actually see the team sheet that was put out. Interesting enough, though, he didn't say anything about Manchester City, unless he was confusing Chelsea with Manchester City in the heat of the moment. If he was, then I'll forgive him for that. Because obviously Arsenal had the full strength side. I didn't see any COVID-related or injured players on the Arsenal side. And Manchester City had a full side as well. So these two teams have got away with it when it comes to injuries and COVID. I always said that the league, because I've said it many times and I'll say it again, there's nothing between Chelsea, Arsenal, really? How'd they get into the equation? I'm doing a Klopp there, sorry. There's nothing between Chelsea, Manchester City or Liverpool this season, I think. There's going to be tight margins, and I said what's going to decide the league is going to be who can keep their players fit. And the reason why you're seeing Chelsea struggling at the moment, but still only 6 points behind Manchester City, is because we've had a lot of injuries. Manchester City have had some injuries, but injuries that they could cope with. They haven't had injuries to a lot of players in a specific area at the same time. So, we could have managed if it was to say one of our pivots out or even two of our pivots out, we could have got by on the other two. But when you're having 3 or 4 out in the same position, anyone's going to struggle. I don't care what team you are in the world. If you haven't got players in a specific position who are important to you, then you'll struggle. Yeah, and that's what happened with Liverpool yesterday. And I'm telling you guys, that's what happened. Liverpool didn't have their full quota of midfielders out. There was no Henderson, there was no Thiago. They got the RV Elliott's on a long-term injury. No Fabinho. So there was an unusual midfield. But even so, they still had Milner. They still had Oxlade-Chamberlain was on the bench, so they still had him. They still had Naby Keita. So Milner and Keita do play a lot of games. So it wasn't as if they were decimated in midfield. We didn't have an attack. Obviously we've got Pulisic and Ziyech are the only sort of front two players that we had, but we had no focal point. We had no striker. All 3 of our strikers were out. At least they had 2 midfielders who could compete. We've had no false 9 and the other 2 strikers. So we were decimated in one particular area. But what you saw that, as I said, we saw what happened. No midfield, and Tottenham. You know, if Tottenham had better finishes with Harry Kane and his shit scoring boots on, they would have. I think it would have been a thrashing for Liverpool. And that's what happens, guys. That's just one game for Liverpool, and that's what happened. You saw what happened. Chelsea have had to be dealing with this situation for over 8 games, and that's why we've only won 2 in 7 or 2 in 8. Because of our injuries. Our fan base need to realise that. Okay, so yeah, the mentality could be better, and I've said that before. You know, digging in deeper. You know, and trying to get the results. But yesterday, second half especially, I saw a team trying. You know, first half I thought we were a bit ponderous, a bit, you know, devoid of ideas, and they were a bit confused with the tactics. But in the second half, we went out there with an attitude of trying to get the win against all odds. But you know, if you haven't got the personnel, it's hard. But you couldn't fault the efforts in that second half. So Liverpool, if they, you know, now Klopp's moaning about getting the fixtures changed and everything else because he's seen what happened. Be in Chelsea's shoes, mate. Have it for 7 or 8 games. Not just for 1 or 2 games, and then you'll see a different story. So hopefully that Liverpool match yesterday will put a bit of perspective in and allow Chelsea fans to start having, you know, to see what happens when, you know, the other top teams are decimated by injuries. As I said before, Manchester City are lucky, or not lucky, fortunate in that none of their players have been affected with the COVID, and they haven't got really bad injuries, so they've been able to cope. But there may be a period this season where they get some injuries to multiple players in a specific position, and we'll see how they cope. You know, their strongest thing, I know it's up front, they're scoring goals for fun, but the issue that Manchester City have had in the past is, okay, we can score 3, but the opponents can score 4 because their defence have been shaky. But that, you know, they've addressed that with the likes of Diaz, Laporte, and Stones. Imagine that they had a crisis like what Liverpool had last season, and those 3 are wiped out. I can't see anybody else in that Manchester City side who can come in as a centre back and allow them to be defensively strong. Their backup isn't in the centre half position, isn't good if they lost 3 or 4 of those in one go. And that could happen, guys. And if that happens, they'll go on a slump as well. If they lost 4 of their wide players and they had no one to create, they'll probably go on a slump. So that's the way it is, guys. So it's you know, this is about being, you know, having that lucky break with injuries or that misfortune or whatever. So it's still quite a lot of games to go in the season, and we just need to keep the faith, guys. You know, keep. You know, if everything stands as it is, Manchester City go through without any injuries, I'll still make them favourites, and I stand by that. I didn't put Chelsea as title winners this season because I felt we still had a lot of catching up to do. But I was a bit despondent the other day, writing off our chances. But you know, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, all things being equal, Manchester City. But if injuries come into play as well, we get our side back at the right time, get our players back at the right time, they suffer an injury crisis, then you know what, we're back in it, guys. That's the way football is. Football is topsy-turvy. The Premier League is full of ups and downs and twists. There's going to be a few more twists coming in towards the end of the season, so let's just keep supporting the guys, and you never know, we can be up there again, you know, and hopefully lifting the title. But even if we don't do it this season, if the boys get the experience and the taste of what it feels like to challenge, then we've still got a young side, we've still got a good manager. We need to stick together and we'll get there eventually. So stick your comments in the section below, and don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on all post notifications to be notified every time I make a new video. Until then, guys, take care.